Here's the last video. As promised last night, I wanted to quickly go over a Born a Crime draft. And once again, your classmate Vienna has agreed to allow me to use hers as an example. The things that I'm about to mention here are very common things that people do in their drafts, and I want to see them corrected in your final drafts when I look at them in your portfolio. So the first thing to mention is the title. I can't remember if I put it exactly like this in the video on the family history essay, but let me say it clearly here. Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, Analysis and Review is not a real title. It tells us essentially what the assignment is, but it's not a true revelation or hint about what's to come in the essay itself. So come up with something original. That's the key. I want to talk about the first sentence, which is pretty long. It's a great idea to start with a question that people would be curious about and want to see answered. But this one is really long. I get what you're doing here, but I would like to see you really tighten it up and make that question be more succinct. So, how does a person who is told he's a crime by the system of apartheid cope? And all that stuff you're going to reveal that later. So you figure out how you want to do it, but make it a snappy question, and then you can unwind all the rest of the stuff in the next sentence. Then here's I just underlined Born a Crime because what you want to do with book titles is italicize the title. That way it stands out, and it's by Trevor Noah, and this is all fine. Here's another wordy kind of sentence. Despite my initial doubt on how interested I'd be in this book, it kept me hooked. So you already said that you were, you didn't think you would really be interested. So, despite my initial doubt, it kept me hooked as I read through multiple different experiences. And then that goes on fine. It highlights the tensions. And again, this is why you don't have to have that kind of thing up in the very first sentence. Here is something I want to teach you all to do. You don't need to say, I think Trevor, or whatever, chose to share his story. I know why it's there, because it's one of the questions in the assignment. However, the I think part, and think about this whenever you want to use it in more formal essays, is you can just make it a statement. So if I cut off I think, if you cut that off, then you have Trevor chose to share his story because it teaches. That gets into a little trouble, because do you really know for sure this is why he shared his story? If you do, it's from a interview or something you read, and then you'd have to cite that source. But instead, I would suggest starting right here, because Born a Crime teaches many people around the world, or just many people, then you've got plenty, and you also have a stronger statement up here. Sorry, I scrolled too fast. You have a stronger statement if you just forthrightly say it teaches people around the world about a society dominated and shaped by apartheid. And then I've underlined it further down, but let me say it here before I go any further. You don't know Trevor Noah personally, so you need to refer to him by his last name throughout. So it comes up, and it's really natural to do this. It feels funny to call somebody by just their last name, but that's the convention in formal writing. So here again, from Noah's stories, make that an apostrophe because it's the story that belongs to him. And then here we have the in-text citation. So you're referring to a specific page let me get this working right again. You're referring to a specific page, so I want you to italicize the title again, but you can even shorten it to just born, because it's the first word. Actually, it's not. I lied. This should say Noah 53. No page, no comma. I'm sorry I can't write real well, but anyway, Noah is the word you want here, and then the page number. I hope that's clear. And you go on. You can do a search, of course, for the word Trevor. I started at the bottom, which is why I didn't highlight Trevor until this far down. Again, here's another in-text citation. I'm not sure why there shouldn't be two sets of quotation marks around here. But again, it's Noah 2:43. And then I didn't mention this above, but you have a I can't make it happen. You put a period on the outside of the parentheses. Again, the I think idea, you just say, this book holds a lot of value in what it can teach people. This is really a good, detailed conclusion, so good for you. Here is your works cited, and I think you might be using APA, and I want you using MLA, and this is how you do a book in MLA. Last name, first name of the author. Author always comes first. Born a Crime, the title in italics. And then this, I'm not sure this is the original publisher, and I'm sure this isn't the original publication date, because this is what I got off of Amazon. But that'll do. That's all you've got to do. And this is why you use his last name up in the works cited to refer to earlier. There we go. So that's about it. Any of you have any questions about your own, please drop me an email.